some actions were without music, but anyway, with some kind of, let's say, punk songs, protesting against different things, against police violence, against male chauvinism, but also, of course, against the growing dictatorship of Putin. So their performances, especially in Red Square and in the Cathedral, became very famous because after Cathedral, three girls have been arrested, and two spent 2 years in prison. But they never performed on stage. The concept was balaclavas and anonymous performances, very short ones, sometimes seconds, to make a video and to deliver their message through YouTube to the whole world. So it was never a fun band, they never performed on stage. But I met Masha Alokhina, the author of the text and the lead person in our show for the last 7 years. I met her 10 years ago in her prison. I visited her in prison several times. We even celebrated her birthday in prison. How did it happen? I was artistic director of big Russian festivals. The biggest was up to 300,000 people. That's why, since I invited musicians from all over the world, different kinds of musicians, like very traditional ethnic music, rock music, electronic, whatever, mixed them together, and sometimes made new projects. And I was really shocked when Pussy Riot were imprisoned. I can tell you why, because maybe it would be a little bit surprising for you, but I think that late Soviet Union and early Russia were, I would say, the most free countries in the world. Why? It's not in terms of, let's say, electoral democracy. We never had this real, mature electoral democracy, but in terms of artistic freedom, definitely yes. I mean, Russian musicians, Russian performers, they could do anything without any boundaries, like whatever is supposed to be indecent, like explicit, whatever. We didn't have this. Like in the late Gorbachev era, in the beginning of 90s. Any language, any like naked appearances, anything, you know. Even in radio and TV, they used any words, and they could perform in Red Square and say, fuck off Yeltsin or fuck off Gorbachev, nothing happened. Even I could tell you that when some artists tried to repeat whatever they did in Moscow, in Amsterdam once, in New York once, in Switzerland, they have been arrested and often deported because it was like hooliganism. I can give you one example. Just 1.5 years before Pussy Riot's famous action in Cathedral, the Christ the Savior, in the center of Moscow, the symbol in the main cathedral of Orthodox Church, Voina group, the war protest art group, 1.5 years before Pussy Riot, they made action called Dig or Cock, captured by FSB, the successor of Russian Secret Service KGB. They spent 40 seconds, exactly as Pussy Riot spent 40 seconds in the church. After this, they were grabbed and after several days arrested. But the Voina group, they spent 40 seconds to occupy the very big bridge in St. Petersburg, and this bridge is drawbridge and never river. In the night, it unfolds and stays like this, 2 parts. 4-5 hours, and big ocean ships, they go to like Sweden and Finland, not anymore, now Russia is like boycott, sanctions, but before like, thousands of people. St. Petersburg is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And these guys, including the girls, by the way, some members of Voina group later became female members, founders of Pussy Riot. So they spent just 40 seconds to draw by white paint a giant cock in the bridge. Just a few seconds before it goes like this. And then it was right in front of KGB building, KGB headquarters. So you should see like thousands of people put their photos to all social networks, like, you know, Dick in the background. So what was the punishment for this? The punishment for this was State Award Innovation for the best innovative art of the year. It's a state award. It's not just like it's like $30,000 or something, you know. Could you imagine? In 1.5 years after this, Pussy Riot have got 2 years in prison for the action, which is, by my opinion, is more or less equal in terms of level of, say, hooliganism. And they really deserved, by the law of 2012, they deserved, say, 5 days of cleaning the church, but not fucking 2 years in prison, in Siberian prison. So, I was shocked because it was the first time in my life, and I lived approximately twice longer than the girls. It was a shock because first time in my life the artists have been arrested for their art. And I understood that this is the end. We had end of democracy many years ago when Putin came to power, complete end of democracy, political democracy, but this was the end of artistic freedom as well. So I spent a lot of time and energy to convince a lot of friends who were famous musicians to support Pussy Riot. First, my friends, like Patti Smith, Peter Gabriel, they were the first. And then I started to try to reach everybody. So I reached Madonna, I reached Sting, I reached Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney is the most popular artist in Russia forever. So he wrote 3 handwritten letters to girls and to judges. So I brought these letters to courts, I brought these letters to prisons, and the girls were happy. So probably these letters didn't influence the decisions of courts, because it was not court, it was Putin and Patriarch of Russian Orthodox Church who decided, let's send them to prison. It was obvious that it was not a court, it was so-called court. And, but at least this made life of the girls happier. Believe me, it's possible to be happier even in prison. And then we became friends. Then my festivals have been attacked by Kremlin. They started to call the local governors to close my festivals, and then I left Russia. And that's it. And then in 2016 I said to Masha, because Masha and Nadia, these 2 most famous girls, they never performed on stage together. Only talking, only meeting with people, but never anything artistic on stage. I told her, listen, you have a really good literature talent. We are not musicians, but you have to get really strong presence on stage. So in 2016, I convinced her, finally we produced this show you'll see tonight. Different, we change, every few months we change something, we add new chapters, we add new kind of things, because the time is changing. Now it's war, the war in Ukraine.
Chapter for Palestine!
Yes, also. Yeah. So, and we rehearsed, and we started the tour, the first tour in America, not Canada, but America, only USA, in the beginning of 2017. Then we changed a lot of people, not we changed, but people come and go and whatever. Now I want to tell you about the members of the show. Masha, I told her about her, she spent 2 years in prison in 2012 and 2013, but in 2021-22, she spent other 1.5 years in different kinds of arrests, house arrest, jail, for just one tweet supporting Russian political leader, opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who was poisoned and then sent to prison. One tweet, because laws from 2012 changed a lot. Now it's really kind of dictatorship, fascist laws. It's like now for whatever Pussy Riot did in church, people could get like 8-10 years in prison. You know? So Masha had to go to another prison colony, but we convinced her, please try to escape. She escaped disguised as a food courier from her house arrest. She somehow cheated the policeman. She break through the border. It was end of April last year, 22. And she tried 3 times, even without Russian passport, because passport was confiscated. So she managed to do this. It's unbelievable. And like a few months ago, she's got a citizenship of Iceland. So thank you, Iceland. About other people of Pussy Riot tonight, Diana Brukot, she plays keyboards, drums, programming. She was initial member of Pussy Riot. She was author of many songs. She participated in this very action in church, but she was one of the 2 girls who escaped arrest. Now she's a kind of musical core of our performance group. Then Olga Borisova, she joined Pussy Riot only in 2016. Before she was a policewoman in St. Petersburg when she was 19 and 20, but then she decided maybe it's more interesting and more maybe useful for, I don't know, humankind to be a member of Pussy Riot instead of police. And, she made great contribution to Masha's book, Riot Days, and the show is also Riot Days. The book is available, you can buy it. She was also the participant of many joint protest actions with Masha. They've been arrested many times, protesting against political imprisonment and many other things. And 1 year ago we asked her, why don't we go on stage? You know the material, you're co-author of this material, you can do it. So she became kind of, let's say, artist, actress, and now she's an essential part of our performance group. And the last but not least, Alina Petrova, she joined our group just several months ago, like in March, I think, and later we've got the Woody Guthrie Prize, and we performed in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's annual Woody Guthrie Prize. She's a professional viola player. She was a student of Moscow Conservatory, a student of very famous Yuri Bashmet, the viola master. But now she's more into avant-garde music, like electronic music, post-minimalist music. She played with people like John Zorn and many other contemporary musicians. And she even traveled to Antarctica for Soundscape of Antarctica. So she's a very interesting, innovative musician. And she plays electric fiddle and keyboards and sometimes drums in our band. And also I can tell you the last thing that Diana, she's also performing solo. And her solo project is called Rosemary Loves Blackberry, and she also has vinyl discs, her last album here in our merch stand. That's more or less everything. Also very important to mention that we dedicate half of our merch money to this very children's hospital in Ukraine. So if you want, you scan this code and you can read about this hospital. Also, if you buy our stuff, you directly contribute to this hospital. Now I will run my video, so I will travel through you to upstairs, and I do the video and subtitles together with Tanya. That's it. Pussy Riot Days show. Thank you.